The American public is reacting positively today to President Trump's first address to Congress. A CBS News poll done overnight shows 82% of people thought Mr. Trump appeared presidential. 71% thought the speech was unifying and inspiring. Only 39% found the president to be divisive.
CBS News contributor Frank Luntz watched the speech with a focus group of California voters. The panel included 11 people who voted for Mr. Trump and 10 who voted for Hillary Clinton. Here is a bit of their reaction.
He was inclusive. He offered a lower leave to the opposition, and yet they come at him and bite. Why? Why don't you come and join us and work with us?
That is no way the real Donald Trump.
No way.
Real Donald Trump will surface in probably less than 2 hours.
And quite frankly, it wasn't an olive leaf he was extending. He wasn't saying, I am willing to work with Democrats. He was saying, Democrats need to work with me, which is a very different thing to say.
And quite true, the Congressional Black Caucus
did, where he said, I won.
Exactly. Hang on.
Exactly.
The Congressional Black Caucus offered to meet with him. He offered to meet with the Congressional Black Caucus, and they rejected it.
Oh, no, sir. No, sir.
Yeah.
No, sir. After he said that, at his speech, they said, hello, Trump, we sent you a letter.
Yes.
We sent you a letter, so they sent a letter first.
Yes.
Get your facts straight before you tell the untruth on National
Black
TV.
Caucus.
Okay, we're not all going to jump all over Mark at one time.
Let's focus on tonight. I think this is the Donald Trump needs to be, and the next thing he needs to do is delete his Twitter feed.
Absolutely.
How many of you don't like what he does on Twitter? Raise your hands. How many of you voted for him and don't like what he does on Twitter?
Do you even have Twitter if you voted for him? Do you have Twitter? Because that's where you're going to see your real president. If you don't have Twitter, you cannot defend Donald Trump.
I want to see him just like what he did tonight was talk about a lot of policies. He seemed more presidential than we've seen him. Cynical or not, absolutely. I don't like how he talks on Twitter and attacks people. I want to focus on running the country and policy. And we can disagree on policy, but I think this is a good start if he's consistent with this.
I agree. He should be more inclusive with everybody and not to accuse everybody of something wrong, just to see the benefit for everybody.
You're Latina, right?
Yes.
Did you vote for him?
Yes.
Are you first generation here?
Yes.
Where were you born?
Guatemala.
And yet you support him?
Yes.
Tell me why.
For jobs. I came here because I wanted an opportunity, not a hangout. And the problem with here is that, anybody comes in, they have a kid, and they start collecting money. That's every single person I know, that's what they do.
But there are a lot of other people
yes,
who are in school,
I don't have any
military.
kids, and I didn't collect. I haven't collected.
Right. And neither have these people. They're working.
But the majority it is.
I don't believe that's true. I don't believe that's true.
Well, go to school, and our school has the benefits. Go into the schools. Into the schools, you ask each kid.
Do you know how many white people are on
I don't care about white people. But my point is that we came here for an opportunity, not for anything else.
I asked you all a question.
Wait,
can I ask you all a question? Clearly, I cannot ask over here. You guys back in Washington, you just mentioned the word immigration. You start the conversation for 10 seconds, and the place goes berserk.
That means that we are in trouble, and we need quick resolution, and we need to put the system back in order. This nation has been damaged to the degree that nobody agrees on anything anymore. We have to observe the rules of law. We have these laws.
You guys agree with that?
For more, Frank Luntz joins us now from Los Angeles. So, Frank, the majority of your panel said this speech was better than his inaugural address, but several also said that what they saw last night wasn't the real Donald Trump. What made them feel that way?
Well, what was very positive about the speech was his tone and demeanor, as well as several overt attempts to work across the aisle to demonstrate cooperation and compromise with the Democrats. And that's exactly what these voters have been looking for. But they have doubts in their mind because of Trump's Twitter account. And in fact, overwhelmingly, they thought that this speech improved his reputation. This is what they wanted to hear. But if they could speak to the president directly, they would say, shut down Twitter. Because it's undermining you, it's undermining the office of the presidency, and it doesn't make you look good.
I have a feeling those close to him have probably said the same thing to him as well. But your panel also got heated talking about immigration. I want to play a clip of President Trump and get you on the other side of this clip.
At the same time, my administration has answered the pleas of the American people for immigration enforcement and border security. By finally enforcing our immigration laws, we will raise wages, help the unemployed, save billions and billions of dollars, and make our communities safer for everyone.
Fascinating watching the difference between those two lines. Our CBS poll shows Americans are actually positive about President Trump's plans, specifically for immigration following this speech. So based on all of this, what was your reaction from this panel?
So they are still focused on what he said during the campaign. And prior to that comment that you played, he talked about the wall, which remains divisive. The public for the first time saw his approach, and he talked about the outcome, the results, the impact of policies, which is a very smart technique, and he did it throughout the speech. In terms of immigration, they like the objective, but they're not convinced that what he's proposing isn't going to divide the country and isn't going to create hardship for some people who are here right now. Make no mistake, the American people overwhelmingly, you now have over 60%, believe that there should be a pathway to legalization for those people who are here. They support the DREAM Act, and they don't support the wall. So that's why you have that difference, that positive reaction from Republicans and the negative reaction among Democrats.
Frank, the president criticized the Affordable Care Act as a collapsing law. Let me play a little bit of what he said.
Remember when you were told that you could keep your doctor and keep your plan. We now know that all of those promises have been totally broken. Obamacare is collapsing, and we must act decisively to protect all Americans.
All right, Frank, we know the Affordable Care Act remains a divisive issue. In talking to the panel, did they seem as divided as the rest of the country?
On the overall generalities, they're not divided at all. And there's a message here for Donald Trump, which is that these are the ingredients of a successful presidency. The willingness to reach across the aisle, a tone and demeanor that is clearly presidential, a discussion of the issues not based only on the specifics, but based on the principles and based on the outcome. What does it mean a year, 2 years, 5 years from now? That Donald Trump was in significant supply yesterday. That's the Donald Trump that got such a positive reaction in the evening polling after the speech and in the editorials across the media. The question is, what does he do today on Twitter? What does he say in his next press conference? Which Donald Trump is going to guide this country? Answer that question, and I can tell you whether he's going to be a 60% president or a 45% president. None of us know. But I can absolutely conclude, based on our session, that yesterday was a success for this president and that Democrats are giving him a fresh look.
It's so interesting to hear you say that. But when you look at his approval ratings right now, going into the speech, 39%. But our CBS poll shows that the views of his policies actually helped improve his image last night. So what does the panel feel he really needs to do to keep the momentum going and maybe get a boost in those approval ratings?
Good. Three things. Number one is that they want the specifics. They want to know the details behind it. Number two, they want to see that there will be follow through. And number three, they want as much cooperation and compromise as you can get in a Washington, D.C. that is divided and in some ways poisonous. So it is not just what he does, but how he does it that will impact their opinions. But again, make no mistake, last night's speech was a success because it confirmed to Trump voters why they supported him, and it allowed Democrats a reason to see some hope that in the coming weeks and months, the Donald Trump that runs this country is a Donald Trump that they can live with. They may still disagree with him, but it is no longer as divided and as dark as it has been up to this point.
Fascinating focus group. Frank Luntz, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure. Thank you.